Again, it is going to be the Wukong, though, for River here, first pick. Let's see if he can get anything done on this. Golden Guardians obviously making a lot of roster swaps around him. It's not just on River or anything like that. You know, they did bring in some Academy guys. They are now back to the original LCS guys. As the guys on the desk were talking about, it means it's split practice, so I'm going to be interested to see how they can perform here today.
I do believe it was one of River's games that I watched the other night in Champions Queue where he ended up 14-0-5 or something absurd on Wukong. So definitely has the potential to carry the game, but we'll see how well it works out. The draft is moving along lightning quick. And speaking of lightning and fast, it's everybody's favorite pentakiller, or based on some of the comments I've been reading on the internet lately, everybody's least favorite pentakiller. Zeri's locked in for EG. They've got the Azir in there as well. Again, both these are so super popular right now, this is no surprise. And honestly, the answers per role coming out from Golden Guardians aren't surprising either. Sivir and Ahri also at the top of the table.
Yep, absolutely. Not going to have total parity, though. As Sejuani comes through, you are expecting that to go up towards top. So there's the opportunity for Golden Guardians to ban out some junglers here, potentially. Try to limit what Inspired could play. Inspired has been so good on the Poppy lately.
It's so good on everything.
Yeah, and that's obviously already taken out. He is just good generically, true. But, you know, they are going to be able to try to target him a little bit more, see if they can knock him down a bit here. EG on the other side, of course, they already have their top laner, so they could target Licorice a little bit.
Right.
Licorice has been, I would say, one of the guys who is pretty flexible up in top lane. You know, he has played quite a bit of Sejuani, but then a number of different style carries, and he had the Kale game. He's had Fiora, Gwen, Relia, so he is willing to play quite a lot of different stuff. I'm just not sure what he would want to play, you know, into this Sejuani. Like, if he would actually be willing to go full scaling towards something like a Kale, playing that into a tank matchup can be pretty comfortable. If you're willing to go full on late game with the Sivir, but that would mean they're very light on engage, so it would be, you know, a lot on Olleh to really try to get that done.
And as we're talking about a lot on Olleh, 2 engaged supports in Alistar and Nautilus banned away, one by either side. And then you already mentioned the Ornn, and Trundle is the last ban of the draft coming out from Golden Guardians, which leads me to believe they had to be thinking that EG would pick it as number 4, because otherwise you love to take Trundle into Sejuani yourself.
Well, and I also think it means that they're going to go a tank top. Right? Because if you're going to go a tank top here for Licorice, you don't want Trundle to be there to really be able to use that ultimate. Like, if you're going to go tank, you never want to allow Trundle through. It's so dangerous, especially when jungle has not yet been picked. Lulu to buff up the Zeri here. Really a lot of scaling on the EG side. Like, this is 4 scaling picks, right?
Yeah.
Like, you have a super frontliner, you have hyperscalers with the Zeri Lulu, as well as the Azir here. I have to find out exactly where Licorice wants to go. If it is a tank, it would be something new because he's really only played Gnar as well as the Sejuani. You know, Sejuani is his only true tank. So this time it will be Gragas. Doesn't necessarily have to be tank. We've actually been seeing a lot more of First Strike AP.
Right.
So could be that, but the fact that he picked Trundle makes me think it is going to be more of a tank style build. Otherwise, I don't really get why they would ban that out. Engage here from support does make a lot of sense. We saw this pairing actually last game as well with poor JJ, you know, bringing out that Rakan for TL. So this would give them the ability to try to get onto some of these backliners. You do need hard engage when you're playing against Azir and Zeri. You cannot just kind of slowly walk towards them. You've got to lock these champions down, burst them down. If you can find that initial Rakan engage, follow up with the Gragas is very powerful. Vice versa, it works either way as well. And now, last pick we are just waiting for here from Inspired. It is going to be Viego getting locked in.
Yeah, we minimized the graphical. Well, let's see it. Let's do it. Let's get to it. Evil Geniuses, 12-3. Golden Guardians, 4-11. For those of y'all that weren't here during the draft, during the pre-game conversations, Isaac told us they haven't yet won a game with River. They really would like to turn that around. This is one of those squads. The desk was talking at the top of the day about how you've kind of got this melee at the bottom of the standings with TSM, with Immortals, with Golden Guardians, with Dignitas. Like, a bunch of these teams are close to each other, and they can very easily miss the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, to miss playoffs after making a big roster acquisition like River would be pretty devastating. And even just to build confidence, you need to get some wins in here, right? It can get really tough. Like, people talk a lot about the honeymoon phase after you make a roster swap. Like, you can kind of get that boost of happiness, of adrenaline. Everyone says, hey, you know, anything's possible. Like, maybe we can really turn this around.
Maybe this is the change.
Exactly. When you start to stack up those losses, though, that can get really kind of rough very, very quickly. It can kind of hurt the mental of the team. So I do think it's super important that they get their first win in here, that they really start to turn things around and build a little bit of momentum here if they want to have a chance in playoffs.
But it's so hard when you're up against the #1 team, when you're up against a squad that has just been straight up better the entire split. Golden Guardians have their work cut out for them. Let's see where junglers are going to start. Looks like red and red, so they'll be pathing to opposite sides. Are we expecting any real early action here? We talk so much about Team Liquid, or not Team Liquid, excuse me. I think scaling, I think TL. We talk so much about Evil Genius's scaling potential in this game. Do we feel like we're going to get those early scraps, or are they going to be content just to pump the brakes a little?
I mean, I don't think, based on the lanes, like, it doesn't feel like anyone's really calling for a lot of ganks. Top lane does have a lot of gank assists, but it's against some very tanky targets, so I'm not expecting there to be a ton of action. I'm expecting mostly just full clears, see if there's any sort of opportunity. If one of the lanes really starts scrapping hard and gets low HP, then you can really start to look for that. Inspired looking like he's going cross map. Is this going to be like an invade on red? Does he have a wrong read on what's actually happening here? Because
I think because
Raptors is gone and red is gone, so I think he made the wrong read. I think he thought Wukong was clearing from top towards bot. He's going to go down for Krugs now, which would be getting him to level 3, but now he has to wait for the minions to go by. He's actually waiting for these minions to pass there, so that he's not spotted as he wraps around. So he's going to do Krugs. Is he going to actually try to pull off some sort of a dive here with the still level 1? I don't think he can go for it while he's level 2, so he needs to get 3. But Stixxay and them should be able to access the wave enough. I mean, Vulcan and Danny did zone them off the wave very heavily, but Stixxay is now 2. Olleh should be getting 2 here very shortly. Inspired's 3, so they're going to try to dive.
Okay, he throws out the Herald Path. Let's see if they can get the damage. Stixxay trying to get away, but his first blood back over to the Golden Guardians. Evil Geniuses messes it up. Stixxay is running to the wrong turret. He'll die to the blasts from that.
Who gets it, though? Is anyone? Is it next to you?
Vulcan.
Okay.
Vulcan will end up, honestly, that's about as good as it can go for Golden Guardians. They end up getting the outplay, they end up getting the first blood, and the kill for their opponents goes back to the support.
So, to me, now the X factor is how far ahead does River get? Because its first blood does go to Olleh, but like, who cares? It's on support. So both supports get a kill. But the problem is Stixxay loses all of that farm, right? And Zeri's actually going to be able to push in one more wave here as well. So once we get away from the dive, we can actually see how much of a CS advantage it is, because I'm guessing it's going to be like at least probably 2 full waves for Danny. River will be stealing away some of these camps, of course, so Inspired is going to pay a price for this, and I'm curious to see what else they can get done. That felt like a dive that was almost calculated with heal in the equation, but of course Danny is playing cleanse, and Vulcan just tanked up too many tower shots, right? Like, he needed to back out early. Unless his read was, I'm dead either way, I must take a death here for us to make this happen.
Right. Well, it ends up being around equal goals.
Look at the farm, though.
Still, and you called it. You said at least 2 waves. Right now, it's sitting on more than 3.
So it's like, who cares, right? The gold is even because Olleh has a lot of gold. When you compare the gold between the 2 marksmen, Danny is 300 gold up. He's a full kill up in just farm, right? And that's not even to mention the experience that Stixxay is going to be down. Danny is a little bit over 4, so he's a full level ahead. Stixxay is about approximately into 3, as much as Danny is into level 4. So you give another 300-400 gold advantage from just stats from the level, plus the 300 gold so advantage that he has from straight up farm. And now you're thinking that dive that looked pretty silly is actually really, really good.
And that's one of those things that I always enjoy talking about when we see it in a game of League of Legends. Because it's one of those situations for a lot of players, you have a situation like that happen, you're like, wait, why do I feel so weak? Why do I feel so behind? If we outplayed their dive 2v3, so many other factors, wave state, experience, the consequences that happen afterwards can outweigh that direct impact.
Absolutely. I mean, top lane, when I started playing top lane a lot, that hammered that home more than anything else, because you can have a play where, your jungler comes, you get the gank, you get the kill, your jungler gets the kill, and you actually feel like you're behind because the wave is maybe messed up, and their jungler comes and you have to leave and it's frozen, things like this, right? Or you trade kills and the wave state is really bad. Can really be devastating, especially up in top lane, but obviously down there in bot as well. Danny takes the early reset, so he's going to be out there with full Zerker Greaves. So, great, just even in inventory right now, it's double longsword on one side. They both have a call, so it's 1,100 gold for the Berserker Greaves, 700 on the other side. So he has 400 gold worth of combat stats extra right now.
And the thing I also want to point out, since we do talk about both of them having a call, remember Danny started with it, whereas Stixxay started with one of the longswords and some potions. So Danny's call is already halfway done. He will get the gold spike from that completion.
FOMO,
Yeah, exactly.
He heard about this call thing, he heard
Danny didn't invest early.
Made this great investment. He bought it late.
Larry David told him about the call. Anyway, back here with Golden Guardians just bringing River through the river. And he's not really going to find an opportunity to do a whole... Oh, no, we can't do that. We already did that. We already did that earlier.
It's terrible. That's the worst part about the trade.
Right,
River
yeah.
and Blue are no longer on the same team.
Yeah, because then they also had a guy named Spawn, so that's another location on the map. You go to Spawn, you go to River, you go to Blue.
Blue's in
Yeah,
the River.
exactly.
We could have gone to town.
I
with
wanted
that.
to reprise it. I really did,
Yeah.
and then they ended up having.
How could they do that to us?
Yeah, Golden Guardians, come on. You guys had to acquire this guy here and now. You couldn't give us a couple more weeks to make the content. Anyway, Jojo and AblazeOlive both level 6 now, so plenty of playmaking on both of them, and a lot of extra safety for AblazeOlive in particular. Going to make it hard for Inspired to get in there and try to make some plays to set that one up, so I don't really expect a lot of attention there, especially considering, you know, Jojo's up a couple of waves himself. He's doing great.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a really interesting start to the game. You know, I'm not actually certain if Inspired had full knowledge of where River's path was. I'd have to go back and check if they actually had vision on it. I know they invaded early to get a ward down, but you know, maybe that was the plan from the very beginning, was just do those camps straight down to Krugs, expecting Wukong to go red Raptors and then up towards topside. And it's a pretty interesting play if that was the plan, because honestly, if this is like the bad end of the dive, if this is it not really working out, you know, it could have been much better potentially. So I like that they're mixing in these aggressive plays. It is something that I have a lot of respect for Inspired for, is because he is so intelligent with his pathing. He's very, very creative. Does like to mix things up a lot. You know, sometimes he's just full power farming. Sometimes he's just turbo ganking nonstop. Sometimes he'll do these really kind of inefficient farming paths to get those extra ganks out. And when you do mix those in, teams have to pay respect to it in their prep. And when you're coming into playoffs, like this is something where people will watch that path and they'll say, all right, well, now we actually have to watch out for that in playoffs, right? You have to actually maybe put down a level 1 ward in a different location to watch for this sort of a play.
And I love that you point out that it's a cornucopia of strategies, right?
Yeah.
Everybody loves watching the crazy, like, Gigabytes Marine style of only PvP after level 3 type of jungling. But if that's all you do, people can download you. They can figure it out. Say, okay, play safe at 3 because he's going to throw himself at you. But being able to switch works so well.
Seeing, I guess, are we seeing if he has vision?
This is the original.
So they had already swept out the ward. So they knew the ward was swept, so he didn't actually have full vision. He knew the ward was swept, so he can surmise perhaps that they're actually starting down there. I'm not sure if it was leash. That's one thing I didn't actually catch in that replay. But either way, they had a good idea that he would have been starting bot side. If that was adapted on the fly, that's really cool. If it was pre-planned, it's really cool. Either way, I do like those creative moves from them. And at the end of the day, he's down 1 camp, right? Like, who cares?
That does not matter, right? Like the value that you get getting your AD carry ahead in that farm, worth way more than a couple of Krugs or whatever River was able to steal away. Inspired hanging out in the top lane up here. Licorice gets stunned up, but he can buffer through it with the body slam. Nicely done.
Yeah, that was well done there. If he doesn't get the body slam off, he could have been in trouble for sure. But they push him out. They don't have the Sejuani ult, but Vulcan and Jojo are now here. Will they actually look for this play? Ablaze and Stixxay are sitting in the side, ready to make a move. It could be a 50-50, but remember, Impact has no ulti. And it feels like EG aren't really in the best position to go for this.
Yeah, they don't.
Zeri's still bot, so yeah, they're just kind of poking around. I think they're saying, all right, well, we'll look for it if we could get like a 50-50 smite, but they weren't given that. So I like that they didn't overcommit. They weren't able to be caught out. And at the same time, plates are being farmed bot. So that is 2 solo plates, potentially 3 going to go down. If 3 go down here for the Zeri, like that is pretty devastating because all of these waves are being denied. Yes, Stixxay will go top, but the farm is still being lost. It doesn't matter if Stixxay is the one losing it. Someone on their team is losing it.
Right.
3 plates now in the pockets there of Danny. He almost cashes the call. So he's 800 gold ahead of Stixxay now, right? And you're going to expect to get, you know, 2 plates back on this Herald, but like not worth.
In that 800, it's the entirety of the gold lead. And I always remember you specifically really getting on teams that did not have good Rift Herald macro for sending everybody up there instead of just taking plates when you're late to the play. And I'm glad to see a lot more teams are getting better at it, because why would you just walk everybody up there to be late and lose it anyway?
And I mean, one of the big things too, to me, that was always important about Rift Herald plays is that concentrated gold is way more powerful than gold spread out amongst your team in League of Legends. It's just the way it is, right? Well, as they might find a pick here.
Inspired using the ult and the flash to get away to safety. Remember, the Heartbreaker gives you that unstoppable ability to disengage there, so they don't have the burst to take him out in time, but they will at least force him back.
But especially on crit scaling marksman, you know, where you're getting more and more value out of that crit and AD. Jojopyun moving up here. Olleh could be in a little bit of trouble. I'm not going to find it, though, on the sweep. Gets 5 gold for bumping the clone.
All right, I
First strike value.
Worth. Hit the clone. Okay, so Azir ulti for 5 gold. Not normally the trade you want, but at least they force Golden Guardians away from the river, I guess.
But Cole pops. And now Danny is almost 1,200 gold ahead of Stixxay. So
Feels good, man.
you know, he is very, very far ahead. But yeah, like concentrated gold is just way more powerful in game in general, especially on hyperscaling champions. You know, crit marksman, some of these really late game mages as well. And, you know, gets you to those item completions much more powerfully. You know, if you have one case on one person, that could be a full item, right? Completed.
Yep.
If you have one case spread across the whole team, 200 gold, it's like a refillable, right? It's
Yeah,
not really
cool.
a lot.
I went back and got a control ward for
Yeah.
us. Like,
And Danny now, like you look at that and you can see it actually showcased here in the items. So EG now, I think, will play with that priority and try to actually take fights here, try to look to start up dragons, do things that they know are going to be very, very tough for Golden Guardians to contest.
and this first dragon is a desirable one. That's an
Yeah.
Infernal Drake, right? Like, that's plus 9% or AD and AP or whatever the bonus is, 50% improved from previously.
Yeah.
Like, previous games, we saw the Cloud Drake, right? In game number 1. That one's not super valuable, even though it did get a bigger buff. People just generally don't value it as highly, but Infernal's always on the menu. So Danny and Vulcan push back underneath their own turret right now as AblazeOlive and River will find themselves back here in mid. River has about 1 minute left to try to use this Herald. Inspired's going to show up, but he gets charmed away as Danny goes in after Stixxay, who has no choice but to run. The zap won't hit him there. And Stixxay has to walk it off. Defensive Sivir ulti as Danny is just comfortable with this lead.
Yep, just getting aggressive, pushing him out. And if he completes the base, then there's no TP to cover, so it's going to be even more minions denied here. Another turret play potentially going over towards Danny. He didn't even use his ulti, so he didn't even really commit much. That was just a speed up from Lulu and him straight up running at the guy. It will be another plate going down. Another Whimsy comes through from Lulu, so just giving additional attack speed. And I think he may potentially get the full tower. It looks like he's gonna. So full tower, all 5 plates are all solo gold onto Danny. Oh, you gotta get around the minions there, bud. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Oh my god! What the hell was that?
Danny, what are you doing?
Come on. Danny giveth and Danny taketh. On one hand, you get the Jinx Penta. On the other hand, you get die, turret, die. That's not what he
Who
was
put those
hoping
minions
for,
there?
But at least he got the stupid turret.
No one could predict that.
Okay, yeah, how could we ever? Anyway, the turret's gone. Danny's just taking, that was a fast
pace.
recall.
Fast
yeah,
pace.
he just wanted to get back to
Smart.
base and spend the gold.
We talked about Inspired's pathing. How about Danny's?
Yeah,
Straight
Danny's
back to the well.
straight back to base.
Instantly.
Didn't have to take a single step. He just got there automatically.
That's efficient, really. When you think about it. Think of all the time you're saving.
I mean, Danny did end up getting the entirety of the bot lane
If he
turret.
didn't get it, I would
That was-
probably ult F4.
You're
If I died
On
to
a
that and
stage
didn't get
game.
it, yeah, I'd just leave.
just be all right, guys.
That would be the end of the
See you
career. That would
tomorrow.
be my retirement announcement. It's just the fact that I never came back. But he got it, so
He
it's
got
worth.
it. He got it, and the Herald that was originally taken from Golden Guardians that set him up to be able to take it, they let the timer run down so low on it. It's not like Golden Guardians was ever able to really make a coherent play with it.
Yep.
So I believe they just dropped it, tried to grab 2 plates, and that's it. Like, EG got way higher value.
Danny is 2K up on Stixxay. Like, the lead is just getting worse and worse, right? He's farming very well. He got all 5 plates plus solo turret gold there on that bot side. They're going to grab up this Infernal, so you can see he's way ahead of the pace of the game. Jojo as well, very far out ahead. Golden Guardians feeling like they're kind of just slowly bleeding out of this one. They do have a lot of playmaking, though, so they are going to have their opportunities. It wasn't going to be for a while because they were way slower on all their mythics. Like, Jojo, Danny, and Impact all had mythic before any of their counterparts did. You can see the career records, 9 KDA for Danny as Zeri.
That's nuts.
Ooh, I wonder what it is now, though. Died to the tower.
That's okay.
That's hurting the KDA.
He'll be fine. I'm sure his 9.07 KDA, if it's sitting like at 8.9 or whatever now.
Just not as cool, though.
That's true. He needs to get it back over a 9. We're gonna need to.
He needs a penta in
Yeah,
there
just
to
drop
even
another
things
penta.
out.
Zeri gets like what?
One every day.
Yeah, every day she's played in professional leagues, she ends up getting a penta somewhere. So why not Danny, huh?
Yeah.
He's pretty experienced at
True.
picking those up. All right, Olleh is trying to see what EG is up to here in the river, but they're going to step forward, clear out all that vision. And EG, they're the ones bringing all 5 men topside to take the Herald here this second time around. Golden Guardians, they have their mid laner all the way down there in bot. No teleport available for AblazeOlive to join up with this, so I don't see them doing anything trying to stop it. Jojo's just going to go ahead and rotate, start clearing out the minions up in topside. And we'll see if EG can find more successful use of this Herald than their opponents did.
Yep, they might just use it for the next dragon. That's kind of like the most common use of second Herald generally, is you just drop it before the next dragon spawn. River looking for a flanking play here, but Inspired is behind him, and Danny can just glide out over the wall, no problem. And he's going to be out to safety. You can see Impact. Impact faced early, didn't actually want to commit the TP, but he just goes down towards bot to actually defend that tower. So Ablaze will get a little bit of damage, but not going to be able to actually threaten that turret by any means. But really, I mean, you can just see the kind of advantages across the board, right? Like you look at all three of the lanes, there's significant farm advantages across the board here, right? You know, it's nearly 20 in top. You know, it's about 25 in mid there. It's 20 in bot. You know, that is just really, really large advantages through what has been an otherwise pretty passive game. So EG just kind of outplaying their opponents across the board here, you know, creating those leads.
So when do you want to see this playmaking from Golden Guardians come alive? Because we've got Mythics online for everybody that's not Olleh now.
I think it basically has to be before EG hits 2 items. Like when you're on 1 and they're on 1 and pieces, you have to go for it. If you're not going for it then you're waiting for when you're on 2 and they're on 2 before they hit 3, right? Like you're pushing it back a long time because I don't think you ever want to fight when they're up a full completed item or you're just in such a rough spot. Like you have to have the perfect fight and it has to go really bad for them to win. You know, the other part of that is if they see an opportunity, you have Gragas, you have Rakan, so there are going to be windows where maybe they just go for a really explosive engage. Like if you can find Jojo or Danny out of position to insta-kill them, then the gold lead no longer matters at all, right?
Right, and Danny does just now hit that second item.
Yeah,
Runon's
so
Hurricane
scary.
completed. Going to give him extra team fight power, extra AoE with those auto attacks. Herald summoned up here in mid, so it will not be synced up with the Dragon. But considering the current health on that turret, Shelly will nearly be able to kill it with just the charge. Goes in there, takes it down to what looks like 15% HP or so.
Yeah, and Inspire's threatening the dive, so they're going to try to make them back up with Impact coming down too, so they can finish it, right? This is just really nice stuff. I like this. They don't even have to look for the dive, right? But Impact now, ooh, nice spell shield from Stixxay.
Very nicely timed there to prevent the ulti from Impact. If that one connects, remember, it's not like there's a cleanse, it's not like there's a Mikhail's or anything. He's dead there.
Yep, absolutely. But just good macro play from EG. They have Jojo pushing up top. Ablaze is pushing bot, as it is kind of poking and prodding here around, but they're going to take away the enemy jungle. They do push in, take down that mid tier 1. It's traded for the bot tier 1, but of course, then EG get top tower as well onto Jojo. They're taking away that entire quadrant of the jungle from Golden Guardian, so EG always getting more out of these plays. Just really, really smart setup, right? Because Stixxay can clear out that wave no problem, and he would have been able to keep the tower alive. But as soon as you know, Inspired's behind you on one side, Impact's behind you on the other side, you can't stay at that tower or you're dead, which guarantees that EG was always going to be able to knock that down.
Evil Geniuses keeping that 2,000 gold lead. 45 seconds till the next Drake spawns. And very unfortunately for the Golden Guardians, second items are now showing up for more than just Danny. Jojo going to get Banshee's Veil. Very important for being able to stop some of that explosive pick potential you're talking about.
Absolutely.
A Gragas ulti, a Rakan charm, something like that he can step away from, have the opportunity to react to now.
And you can see even Inspired is kind of preparing for a potential fight, right? He grabs a pretty early stopwatch here. So he's going to be ready to really have that one punch fight. Impact picks up his Frozen Heart, so I don't think it's a smart time for Golden Guardians to fight before they complete, which does mean likely they have to give this one up unless they feel like, hey, we really have a good angle here. But I think it's unlikely to go their way if you fight right now because EG has the additional completed item across all 3 roles.
Yeah, I'd much rather see Golden Guardians let this one go, but it looks like at least for now, they're willing to contest it. River runs in, bonks the dragon over the head real quick, gets it aggroed. Remember, this is the Cloud Drake. This one does high DPS compared to a lot of the other ones. Golden Guardians are going to stick with aggroing this. They're starting to whittle it down to about half HP now. Inspired is over the wall. Throws out the stun there, but the Spectral Maw doesn't have the distance it needs. AblazeOlive 1v1 against Jojo off to the side. Meanwhile, the fight breaks out, and River's going to be jumped on by Impact. Dragon resetting a little bit. River looking for some sort of a way in, as Inspired is the only man left in the pit.
Stacking.
Zeri stacking up. Danny zoning him away. Impact surviving with Wild Growth. EG take control of the pit, control of the fight, control of the Drake. Impact gets out, and Jojo gets in. He throws Olleh right back, but they aren't going to grab any kills just yet. Inspired's looking to go in and find the reset, but Stopwatch is there for the outplay and gets him to safety. Licorice now going to be the next target as Impact stuns him up, and Danny shoots him down.
Oh, Danny's looking. He's on the honey. He tags him with the laser. They are slowed up here. I don't know if he can chase in, though.
Not enough HP. Not enough HP. Not 1v4 like that. So they back away. It's Drake plus 1 kill for EG.
Yeah, a lot of summoners used on either side. Both summoners used on Stixxay. The flash was used for AblazeOlive as he tried to go in for the big play. EG push forward here with Imbac's ulti, trying to zone them away. Danny pops the ult, and then Golden Guardians know they have to reset the stacks on Zeri or they're going to lose this fight. But that buys EG to the time to actually finish this off. And then Jojo here finds the angle coming in from behind here onto Golden Guardians. The spell shield goes up, but it actually didn't even clip him. So Stixxay just able to sidestep that ulti was key, and slinking away with very low health. EG doing a good job kind of trading health bars back and forth. You're stepping up as they need coverage. Impact had to flash out early, but then it's Inspired going in, and Impact has enough health to kind of go in and cover for his jungler to get out even later on. They're able to give that kill over to Danny as well. So he picks up the kill, they get the dragon, and they're positive on summoners because Danny didn't use anything as far as his summoners on that fight, and he is the key member right now, working towards his third item, likely going to be Titanic, because he does have that Tiamat plus the Ruby Crystal in inventory.
So looking back to what we were talking about before that fight, saying we'd rather see Golden Guardians not take it. We still feel that same way? Because I'm still feeling that same way.
I'm still feeling the same way.
Yeah, it wasn't a wipe, it wasn't an ace or anything like that, but as you're describing, summoner spell advantage for EG, kill advantage, objective advantage. That went EG's way anyway.
It is a close fight, so I can definitely see the thought process of hey, if we just really execute perfectly, we could win this fight.
Okay.
But I think it's pretty unlikely, both because it's EG and I think they're the best skirmishing team in the league, but also because they had the item advantage. I would have preferred to see them trade sides of the map, just try to take away some jungle camps, set up vision in the enemy jungle, maybe push for a tier 2 tower, something like that, try to get some gold in their pockets, and fight when you're on 2 items, and they're on 2 items, not quite on 3, right? Because when you fight there, you're just giving them, another opportunity to really kind of utilize their gold lead. Another stopwatch now here in inventory for EG. This time it's on Jojo, who is without flash, so I think he's paying respect to the fact that his summoner is down, knowing that they're going to have that next dragon fight potentially before it's back up.
And Inspired got a lot of value out of his stopwatch in the previous fight. Without that, he would have gone down. So as long as you get value out of that item, it is incredibly effective for the price point. It can really turn things around, switch up the flow of fights. And on a champion like Azir, which you can go really deep on, but you put yourself in a vulnerable spot, it opens up so many opportunities to just be that YOLO player.
Yeah, absolutely. And if he wants to go aggressive, this is a pretty heavy dive theme with Gragas and Rakan and the Wukong. So he can even just go Zhonya's third. I think it's actually fine this game, right? So, you can do a pretty defensive build here and utilize, the Banshee's Veil and the Zhonyas to allow you to kind of throw yourself in there, look for those aggressive plays, but also to absorb some of the dives. That one ward over by Baron is going to kind of slip through the cracks here. This one is such a good one just because it's never actually covered by the pink wards in the pit. You need a second pink ward or a sweeper in the area. Licorice hunting here though as they pop the Shirelius.
Yeah, Golden Guardians, they won't find anything here just yet. They're trying to throw out some poke, trying to see if they can grab anybody out of position from EG. Jojo rotating back over now, seeing how aggressively Golden Guardians were posturing, wants to be ready to jump in on the flank if this fight breaks out, but it won't. Everybody just sort of backs away. We've got a Drake here in 1 minute. I'm expecting another brawl over this one.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, again, it's just smart kind of slow passive play from EG, right? Golden Guardians group up as 5. EG stays in the area to kind of maintain some semblance of vision, but they have Jojo pushing up towards top, and that's what I was highlighting. The top lane wave was dying to the tower. And look at the levels now, right? Jojo is up at level 15 here. Licorice just hit 14, Ablaze is on 14, so he is getting that experience advantage, spending time in those side lanes. And Inspired donating a lot of these camps over, gives him the blue buff, gives him the Gromp, so getting up to that point where it is going to be very, very dangerous. Danny again now, because he is so accelerated, has already hit his third item here. And Jojo has 2K in bank. So they are really, really strong. And yes, Stixxay has hit his 2 items, but he is going to be pretty far behind the pace of the game compared to Danny still.
And Danny's hard to kill as an AD carry, man. Through a shield bow, the extra health pool that Titanic Hydra also lends you, he's very difficult to kill. So unless Golden Guardians can hit him with everything plus the kitchen sink, I don't see him seeing a gray screen anytime soon. And that damage, they know what that Zeri is capable of. So EG have control over the bottom side river here at the start. Licorice is going to push up the bottom lane, then he should be able to approach from the south, warding the brushes.
All about the engage.
Yeah. They throw out the ulti from the Sejuani, looking for AblazeOlive, but they don't find him. He has to spend his own ult to get away.
Exactly. So no ulti on AblazeOlive means I think Ahri is going to be very ineffective in this fight unless they can find something right now. That's why EG is playing kind of passively here, sitting back a little bit. Licorice looking for this potential flank, though. He has the angle from above. but Ablaze getting really low.
Ablaze could be in trouble. Jojo's gonna go golden here immediately. Now as Golden Guardians look for their angle, Impact soaking damage here in the front, but River grabs the kill back into Jojopyun. Golden Guardians have won the fight so far, but they gotta be careful for Danny. He's ready to go with Runan's Hurricane locked and loaded. He takes out Olleh, and he turns his attention over to River. Now he'll look for Licorice following up. Won't quite find the damage just yet. Stixxay's getting one back.
The charm!
Fired, and the charm! Ult be damned! AblazeOlive catches Danny and stops the pentakill.
Oh, Danny was a couple autos away from a penta there. I think he thought he had the range on the charm, but the very edge of it connects onto Danny, gets him the shutdown there. That was by the slimmest of margins. Golden Guardians making this fight really, really close here around the Dragon. They had pretty good setup. I mean, Licorice can come in from the top. The only problem here is, imagine if AblazeOlive had his ulti. Ablaze was flashing out as River was going in, so they were a little bit disconnected there. But River was able to get so much damage down onto the Azir, bursting him down. And then the problem here is Danny. They have that Scuttle Shrine, so he gets the move speed boost from that. He already has the stacks. He's able to finish off River here, and then going in through the Boomerang Blade, gets really low, tries to backstep here on this charm. Oh, I think what happened there is he actually right-clicked behind him and right-clicked the Dragon. That's what it looked like. He turned around.
Turned to attack.
He turned to attack, so his character did not move. Oh my God!
That champion's so balanced.
Hello?
All right, yeah, that's... That's Zeri, baby. Inspired versus AblazeOlive. AblazeOlive has to try to get away. Inspired gonna be taken low, and Licorice gets rid of him. Golden Guardians, their team fighting is keeping up. Danny gets jumped on. Follow up from Olleh. They're not able to kill him in time. And now, the firing line.
That's
Golden
three.
Guardians. Danny is looking.
That's four.
All five again. Zeri does it better than any other champion in the damn game, and Danny does it better than any other Zeri.
Oh my God, he almost got the penta. We were joking about it earlier, but Danny getting the quadra there. The engage came through. It was Licorice flashing in on him, Olleh flashing in to follow up, but they could not close the gap. The carries couldn't actually get in to take down Danny, and just like that, EG gets enormously ahead. Golden Guardians were fighting valiantly, some really close team fights back and forth between these two teams. But EG fully in control now, nearly 7,000 up.
Let's see it again. Let's watch Danny just pour bullets into it. He's got an action movie clip in that gun or something.
Absolutely, man. Golden Guardians on the Dragon here. They do secure it, and then AblazeOlive over the side finds the charm onto Inspired. They go in, they're able to get him really low and then finish him off. But as they go forward here, they're kind of grouping up and funneling up for Danny, who's getting so much damage down. Body Slam Flash comes in, Olleh goes for the follow-up, but look at Impact making space, and then Jojopyun flying in from the side. It was a great spell shield from Stixxay to actually immune that ulti, but they create the space. EG fights so well around their carries. They know their win condition, and as soon as Danny is in danger, everyone is throwing their bodies in between Danny and the carries to make sure that there's no follow-up. And it's that presence of mind, it's that level of team fighting that has EG at the top of the table here and has Danny reaping the rewards of his incredible team, getting that quadra kill here and now pushing in, looking to try to seal the deal. 8K up, they're pushing in mid, they're pushing in bot.
EG's reading from the book of Uzi. Protect the AD carry and ye will win. This is what you gotta do. The Zeri with the Black Cleaver completed as the 4th big item here. So much bruiser power here on this champion. You saw when it looked like, oh, okay, Licorice goes in, Olleh follows up. They just don't have any burst to take him out.
Because the carries get pushed out, right? It's because Impact flies in, Jojo flies in. They know as soon as those flash engages are used on Danny, what do the carries want to do? Stixxay and Ablaze all want to close the gap here and try to get raided on Danny. So that makes them vulnerable to Impact. That makes them vulnerable to Jojopyun flying in. And they have to kite back. You can't walk through the Sejuani and the Azir to get to Danny. You'll just die, which means they create that space. And EG uses their health bar so incredibly well. You know, Impact and Inspired, you know, trading out their lives at times, really protecting their carries incredibly well. It's one of those things that I think is so fun to watch. Team fighting on a tank, like everyone loves to make fun of tanks and talk about how simple they are, but team fighting and knowing your limits is such a skill at the highest level. You know, being able to know exactly how much you can take, you know, whether you should be engaging or peeling or how to really play out those fights. And EG has a couple of guys who are absolute masters at it.
Evil Geniuses with a 9,000 gold lead with Baron for another 30 seconds. I would expect him to want to really force down this tier 3 turret as River goes in and looks for Danny, but he's already Wild Growth. Impact going to be the target now as Golden Guardians kill off the enemy top laner, but they trade Olleh for it. 1 for 1. Danny's still alive. AblazeOlive's got to be careful here eating those shots as the next wave's about to collide. 15 seconds left. They have enough time to get the turret here with this wave.
Absolutely. They're pushing in for this turret. That one's going to be gone. You can see Ablaze is healing up, but he has no ulti, so he's not threatened. Danny knows there's no ult on the Gragas. They can't actually look for any sort of engagement. He just walks forward. He kills him as well.
Care. He just doesn't care. He knows they can't do anything to him. CC or not, it ends up just baiting him in. Stixxay dies. Evil Genius is 4v3. Just looking to end the game right now. They have taken their time long enough. River, AblazeOlive, Licorice, Olleh, they gotta try to defend somehow. Jojo's gonna go in, Jojo's gonna swoop AblazeOlive right back towards Evil Geniuses. Inspired's not gonna have any of this. They're going for the Nexus. They'll let Danny pad the stats a little more. He's dominating, he's looking for more. There's another double, might as well make it look nice. 12-6, EG get the win.
Nowhere is safe for Golden Guardians, not even the well. Danny knocks him down, and Stixxay's floating to the bottom of the river there.
What champions are worth banning more than Zeri against Evil Geniuses?
Jinx, maybe? I heard he has a pretty good Jinx, too.
I don't know, man. This Zeri, out of control. The rest of the team playing around it, enabling it. Danny just getting a lead, even though, yeah, him and his lane mate, him and Vulcan are both dead at level 2, coming out from that dive that they had, right? Doesn't matter. The aftermath of the situation favors them. It gets to team fights, and Zeri's just...
Yep. I mean, they played the macro really, really, really well, right? You know, being able to actually handle, you know, forcing Golden Guardians to keep all 5 over at the Rift Herald by kind of poking and prodding, saying, hey, we might look for a fight. You don't want to leave yet. And meanwhile, Zeri's taking a 3-plate spot, getting more farm. You know, it was that 1-for-1 trade where both supports get the kill on the bottom side. But again, they did that after having zoned off the enemy 2v2 so heavily. So Stixxay and Olleh are getting no experience, getting no farm, and when you die there under the tower, you lose everything. So really well played. EG again showcasing how to get your carry fed and how to play around them in team fights.
Well, let's go.